Well, many people are getting ready to celebrate the holidays with families. It's not always joyful and festive for those who lost a loved one during the year. I talked with Treg Thomas, a psychologist with Corewell Health, about how to deal with loss during the holidays.
I know everyone grieves differently, but what are the most common feelings associated with grief?
Well, we tend to think about grief as moving in stages. That's not really how it works. It's more about different experiences, common experiences we have as humans. So, a common experience we might have is shock or disbelief, bargaining questions. Is there any way this could be different? Anger, sadness, and then acceptance. And acceptance here is a little different. It's not becoming okay with it. It's finding ways in which my life can be okay even though whatever it is happened. So those are some of the common experiences. They can come and go at different times.
How can people work through those feelings during the holidays?
But one of the things to keep in mind, the definition of grief that I like is unfulfilled wishes. And when you have a time of year, pretty much between like Thanksgiving and New Year's, there's a lot of potential special occasions, traditions, get togethers that have the potential of leaving a lot of unfulfilled wishes when there's loss. And so it's really helpful, one, if someone's experiencing loss, maybe find a different way of honoring the memory of those they've lost and make that part of your tradition. One of the things we want to watch out for is withdrawing too much from others. So we want to make sure we stay connected in a way that's meaningful and helpful. And then obviously, if it's necessary, you can talk to a professional if you need that level of support.
Do you have any advice, tips for someone dealing with sadness around the holidays?
Yeah, I would say try to focus on what it is you value about the holidays, and pursue that. And if that includes honoring the memory of someone you've lost in some different way, that's great. But really, and I do this with a lot of people, just explore what exactly is it that you value about the holidays, and is there a way that you can pursue that and find fulfillment in this season?
People often wonder sometimes, what they should say to someone who is grieving. How can people support someone who is grieving?
I would say just do the best you can. As a culture, we don't really know how to handle grief. We don't know what to say. And what we really want to do is we want to say something that makes it better, but nothing's really going to make it better. If you can say something that lets the person know that you're just here and you're with them. Now, I work with people on the other side who are actively grieving, and I say, try to keep in mind the spirit of what that person is saying to you instead of the words that they're using. Are they doing it in a loving and caring spirit? Even though that their words might not be helpful, can you accept that care and that love? And so anything that can convey that, I think, can be helpful.
And Thomas also says if you are dealing with the pain of loss this holiday season, you should contact your healthcare provider for assistance.